Last night, Liverpool continued their fine form by beating Southampton easily at Anfield. Now, while usually this isn't a surprising result, with the given injuries that Liverpool have, this was a brilliant result and the youngsters really turned up again. With so many of these young players making a name for themselves, let's have a look at why they are so good and why they could definitely have a future for Liverpool in the Premier League. Now, I definitely think there's a lot of good youngsters at the big teams. You definitely expect it, especially from the top six sides, but I do not know if any other young performances in the team could do this sort of level. The level of these players that Liverpool are playing at collectively is a very high level, and there's definitely times where it's still a bit shaky, but overall you cannot complain. These players are getting good experience with the injuries and Liverpool is still getting results. Obviously a lot of credit has to go to Jurgen Klopp with his brilliant tactical awareness and his brilliant knowledge, but I also think the players deserve immense credit. Now in this video we're going to focus on some of the main ones, but it doesn't mean the others are necessarily played bad. I still think there's a lot to give in this team. Now in the starting 11, Liverpool ended up playing a team with McConnell, Clark, Bradley and Koumas, who are definitely the youngsters that came in. Obviously you've still got players such as Quansah and Elliott who are young, but we're seeing quite a lot of this season, and Joe Gomez was kind of in midfield. They kind of had to do this, but in the end you can't complain. They still got the result in the end. Now from a tactical point of view, this game was a little bit weird for Liverpool. They actually started without the ball in a bit of a 4-4-2, but they sort of had a lot of players running everywhere. I can expect a lot of young players to get excited and want to show themselves to go around the ball, but also there's a few times early on where Tsimikas, I don't know if he's meant to do this, just kept running out from left back into the midfield and he'd keep giving away his position, letting them be able to run through. They also tried when they were on the ball to get Tsimikas up this left side. He often had space and they often wanted him to go and help the midfield. Usually one of the midfielders, sometimes it was Clark mostly, would come in from the right side and trying to actually play in that midfield, with Gomez sitting deep with the two centre backs, usually not providing much position and trying to hold their run. Now Bradley was supposed to have a sort of double pivot with Joe Gomez for most of the time, but often when the Liverpool midfielders would come back and try to play it off and it didn't really work. The defence was playing a bit of a high line and kept getting played through with the pace that Southampton had going forward. And the real pass they needed in that middle was Joe Gomez, because they kept giving the ball to McConnell and McConnell kept taking too long on the ball deep with it and then kept losing it. Southampton kept having chances which they didn't even end up taking. To counter this, Liverpool put both their fullbacks really high up the pitch. They really wanted Bradley to get into that wing position to try and help the team press up the pitch and get Tsimikas up the left side. Now this was alright when they had the ball, but obviously when they didn't, Southampton had very big chances to score with them not being there. Quickly, I want to give massive praise to Kelleher before we get into the next part. Now Kelleher isn't a youngster, he's 25 and we have seen him for a few years, but he's really taken that spot when Alisson's been injured this season. Now I'm someone that necessarily didn't rate him too much. I thought he was a good keeper, but not sure he's that level to play for Liverpool, but he's definitely proved it. Shot stopping ability is definitely elite, and there were so many times this game, I think he did 3 or 4 wonderful saves to stop Southampton scoring. Realistically, he was the only reason why they were in the game at the start. He really held himself well, like he did in that Carabao Cup final the other day. But he deserves a lot of credit and he's a brilliant goalkeeper. And I don't even think with Alisson, Liverpool are really missing him too much because Kelleher has been perfect, which means he's probably going to have to leave in the summer when Alisson comes back from his injury. Now, some of the roles that Liverpool did in this game as well to get forward when they started to get a bit more on the ball after the first half an hour were very interesting. They had Tsimikas play quite high up on the pitch and sometimes he even came inside. He would sort of have a fluid motion with Koumas, the left winger, and honestly come inside when he went out or come inside together, and often sometimes then behind them would be in that overlap. Them three created a really good triangle down that side, and there's many times where it kept getting Liverpool up the pitch and into good positions. Now it's clear that they've all got definitely different specialities, and I really like Bobby Clark in this game. There were so many times where he picked up the ball and just kept moving forward. He seems very confident and very much wanting to get the ball forward and going. I mean, this is proven by the fact he made 3 passes into the final third, and one of them was obviously with the first goal. He passes it into Koumas, who I think moved into the centre at this point and sometimes rotated with Gakpo in the game, and he goes onto his right foot, takes a little deflection into the corner. Brilliant for your first ever game for Liverpool. Now I don't expect all Liverpool team to be on the same picture just yet, as they are young and probably haven't played together as this whole group a lot, considering it's very different amount of players from different places. But you can see that they understand that the intensity that Klopp wants, because even with this goal, McConnell is up there pushing players away. You got Gakpo taking players away, allowing Koumas to basically have that shot, and you've also got Clark running in, and that's what evidently gets the goal in the end. Takes a little deflection, but still a good finish by Koumas, and you really take that as a great goal. And this clearly gave the team confidence, because just a few minutes later, straight away, Southampton are messing around with the ball in their defence, and McConnell does a brilliant tackle to get Liverpool on the attack, and then it's a 2v1 against one of the defenders. Koumas is brilliant, does a great pass, and then Gakpo puts it wide, but this is the intensity they have. Now this led all to, I think, the real start of the players that came on. Now in my opinion, I think Bobby Clark was one of the best players on the pitch, and I give a lot of credit to him. I think his stats are insane, but I think the man that everyone's going to be talking about is the guy that came obviously off the bench bench, being Jayden Dans. Now, I think Dans had a brilliant impact off the bench against Chelsea, and today he had an even better impact, scoring 2 goals and getting them the win in the end. He showed that he works very hard off the ball and he's got great ball manipulation, and he gets a lot of shots in, which I think is a very key point. He was just so electric when coming on, and straight away, 72 minutes in, he gets his goal, his first goal, because Elliott wins the ball back by poor Southampton play, but good pressing by Gakpo and Gomes to sort of push them into that mistake. Obviously, we know Elliott's quality. He waits and waits and waits for Dans to make the run, and I'm thinking, oh, he's going to run offside because it's a long time, but he actually times it perfectly on, and it's a brilliant finish. He gets right in front of the goalkeeper, chips it over him. It's brilliant composure and brilliant running off the ball. I really like to see that. And 15 minutes later, he gets another goal, but he was brilliant the whole time, working well. Link-up play is brilliant, but I think his off the ball is really special. Even for the second goal, the ball is down the left wing. He holds off. He puts an actual perfect good run just outside the box where he wants the ball. The ball doesn't come to him, it gets crossed in. It gets headed out to Conor Brandy, who does a really good shot. It gets saved, but you can see his movement. He slowly starts off, he sees the danger, and then he slowly just runs in right when you want him to. Right, brilliant pace to get in there front of the defender and smashes it into the open goal. Now, it's the main thing. A striker could have bad finishing, but if they've got brilliant off the ball movement, then you will succeed at some sort of level in football, definitely near the highest, and I think that really shows a great awareness by the youngster. Now, it's not only his goals, he clearly shows a lot of intensity when he came on and wants to prove himself, but in just 27 minutes he had 4 shots, which is a lot of shots. It's proven that he is getting into at least areas where he can be able to have them shots, and 2 of them went in, really good goals. And it's funny because he actually had more shots than passes. He only did 1 pass after coming on, but it didn't matter because he got himself into really good positions and ended up having an XG plus XJ of 0.48, which means in every 2 games of what he did in 27 minutes, he will always score. And he only had 6 touches, yet he's going to be one that everyone talks about, and I think he deserves it. I think he was brilliant, and I think he really is showing that he could be a player that could be an option for Liverpool in the future, maybe end of the season if they need to. And honestly, no hate to someone like Gakpo. I still think covered himself well today, and they needed sort of that leadership in there. Be fun to play him in some of the other games with some of the big players around him. Now, people can talk about the Southampton team not being maybe that strong either, but Liverpool at the end of the day played a team of full youngsters and a couple of senior players, and they got the job done in ease in the end. And even the players that were senior that were playing, Van Dijk got brought off at half time, and the others are still very young players, still learning, and I think it shows that how good their strength in depth is at a young age, and clearly how good their academy is working. Jayden Dans is from Liverpool, joined him when he was 8 years old. He's worked his way up and is clearly working. With more youngsters being able to see that progress and be able to see that elevation that you could happen in that club, it will definitely mean it's a lot more exciting for teams and young players to go to. And despite them having about 4 million injuries, Liverpool still are in this title race and probably are still the favourites. I would say they have a brilliant chance of winning this year and doing something special on Klopp's last year. I hope whoever comes in, please plays these youngsters at some point and gives them the career they deserve, because these players are really good. And that's without mentioning brilliant players like Trey Naomi and Cade Gordon, who also came on today, and other players that have been given time in the last few games. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the Liverpool youngsters, and let me know what you think their chances are this season. I appreciate your views always, and if you like this video, please go and watch my video about where I analysed Endo's performance in the Carabao Cup final. Congratulations Liverpool, and I'll see you in the next one.